welcome back. We're going to start off with a little bit of listener involvement. So just raise your hand if you enjoy playing with fire. Yeah, I do. I do very much enjoy playing with fire, but I haven't always been that way. When I was a little kid, we used to have these 4th of July block parties that all the dads would bring in fireworks and shoot them off, and sometimes the kids would help. But I was not that way. I would instead make my dad drive his truck to a spot that I deemed to be safe enough and far enough back that I would be okay, but still close enough that I could watch. I was a little bit of a chicken, but I eventually grew out of that, and by the time I was in junior high, I very much enjoyed shooting off fireworks. When I would go over to Pete Westervelt's house, that's what we would do. That was one of the things that we always did when we were together, is we shot off fireworks. And this one afternoon, it was during the summer, and it was pretty hot and it was pretty dry. We were shooting off fireworks, and he lit a fountain right by this big box of fireworks. And it probably would, looking back, it probably would have been okay. Nothing would have been too terribly wrong. But I kind of panicked and instinct kicked in, and I kicked the fountain, and I saved the day, but I kicked it right into a dry field that was next to us, and I set the field on fire. Thankfully, Pete's dad, Doug, was there to help us put out the fire before it got too big. But I learned very quickly, and I am still learning this today, that fire can be very powerful. And that's what we're going to kind of talk about today. I'm going to read to you from Proverbs chapter 26, verses 20 through 22. It says, "Without wood a fire goes out, without a gossip a quarrel dies down. As charcoal to embers and as wood to fire, so is a quarrelsome person for kindling strife. The words of a gossip are like choice morsels, they go down to the inmost parts." So Solomon is talking to us here about a couple of things. He's talking about gossip and he's talking about anger or conflict. And fire, like Solomon uses here as an example, is used throughout the Bible to signify things like God's presence, justification or purification, and also judgment. But here he's talking using fire as a metaphor for conflict. He says, without wood, a fire will die out. And it makes sense. Without fuel, a fire is going to die. It's not going to burn any longer, and that's basically the same thing he's saying is with conflict. If we're not there to talk about it, if we're not there to gossip, then eventually the conflict's going to die. And God pretty emphatically does not like gossips. He doesn't like slandering or spreading false words. It's mentioned multiple times through the book of Proverbs, and it's actually in Proverbs chapter 6 among the 7 things that God hates. And this really isn't just an Old Testament thing either. Paul mentions it multiple times in the New Testament, in the book of Ephesians, and 1 Corinthians, 1 Timothy, and so on. Why would you want to prolong conflict if you had the choice to bring about peace? Why would you want to gossip if you have the choice to be more intentional and more intentionally positive with your words? Our words are powerful. James in chapter 3 talks about the power of the tongue, and I'm going to read you verses 3 through 8 real quick. "When we put bits into the mouths of horses to make them obey us, we can turn the whole animal. Or take ships as an example. Although they are so large and are driven by strong winds, they are steered by a very small rudder, wherever the pilot wants to go. Likewise, the tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boast. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. The tongue is also a fire, a world of evil among the parts of the body. It corrupts the whole body, sets the whole course of one's life on fire, and itself set on fire by hell. All kinds of animals, birds, reptiles, and sea creatures are being tamed and have been tamed by mankind, but no human being can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil, full of deadly poison." Again, fire is used as an illustration here because fire is powerful. Our words they have very severe consequences, one way or the other. You have to be incredibly intentional about what you say. If you knew that your words had the ability to keep a fight going or to make peace, wouldn't you want to make peace? If you knew that your words had the ability to build someone up instead of tear someone down, wouldn't you want to build someone up? That's how it works. Again, Solomon mentioned conflict. As long as we're not there to gossip, as long as we're not there to keep bringing about conflict, it'll eventually die because it'll run out of fuel. If we don't speak words, negative words to people, conflict's going to die. In Matthew, and again, Jesus himself reiterates this. In Matthew chapter 12, verse 36, it says, on the day of judgment, people will give an account for every word that they speak. Our words matter. I want to encourage you to be more aware of what your words are doing. Are they tearing people down? Are they gossiping? Are they cursing? Are they making conflict stay alive? Or are they building people up? Are they praising God? Are they sharing the gospel? Are they spreading love and hope? What are your words doing? I want to leave you with this very direct and intentional verse. It's a verse full of instruction. It's simple, one line. In Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29, it says, let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up, as fits the occasion, that it might give grace to those who hear.